The first rightly guided Caliph Abdullah bin Abi Quhafa, his characteristics and morals since the beginning of the Islamic message and its spread in the world. Part 3. We continue to narrate a stage in the life of the rightly guided Caliph Abu Bakr Al Siddiq. The Battle of Badr. Amr ibn Hisham is described as shaming Umayyah ibn Caliph into joining the expedition. Plans of action. Muslim council near Badr. Muhammad held a council of war to review the situation and decide on a plan of action. According to some Muslim scholars, the following verses of Al-Anfal, Q8, 5-6, were revealed in lieu of some Muslims fearing the encounter. Abu Bakr was the first to speak at the meeting and he reassured Muhammad. Umar was next. Then, Al-Miqdad ibn Amr got up and said, "O Messenger of Allah! Proceed where Allah directs you to, for we are with you. We will not say as the children of Israel said to Musa, 'Go you and your Lord and fight and we will stay here.' Rather we shall say, 'Go you and your Lord and fight and we will fight along with you.' By Allah! If you were to take us to Bakr al-Ghamid, we will still fight resolutely with you against its defenders until you gained it." Muhammad then praised him and supplicated for him, but the three who had spoken were of the Muhajirun, who only constituted around 1/3 of the Muslim men in Medina. Muhammad wanted the opinion of the Ansar, who were not committed to fighting beyond their territories in the pledges of Aqaba. Muhammad then indirectly asked the Ansar to speak, which Sa'd ibn Mu'adh understood and asked for permission to speak. Muhammad immediately gave him permission to speak and Sa'd said, "O Prophet of Allah! We believe in you and we bear witness to what you have brought is the truth. We give you our firm pledge of obedience and sacrifice. We will obey you most willingly in whatever you command us, and by Allah, who has sent you with the truth, if you were to ask us to throw ourselves into the sea, we will do that most readily and not a man of us will stay behind. We do not deny the idea of encounter with the enemy. We are experienced in war and we are trustworthy in control. We hope that Allah will show you through our hands those deeds of bravery which will please your eyes. Kindly lead us to the battlefield in the name of Allah." Muhammad, impressed with his loyalty and spirit of sacrifice, ordered the march towards Badr to continue. Muslim plan of action. By Sunday the 11th of March, 15 Ramadan, both armies were about a day's march from Badr. Muhammad and Abu Bakr had conducted a scouting operation and managed to locate the camp of the Quraysh. They came across an old Bedouin nearby from whom they managed to find out the exact strength of their army and their location. In the evening, Muhammad dispatched Ali, Az-Zubair and Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas to scout for the Meccans. They captured 2 Meccan water-bearers at the wells of Badr. Expecting them to say they were with the caravan, the Muslims were horrified to hear them say they were with the main Qurayshi army. Unsatisfied with their answer, while Muhammad was praying, some of the Muslims beat the 2 boys into lying and Muhammad strictly condemned this action later. Muhammad then extracted the details of the Meccans from the boys. The next day Muhammad ordered a march to Badr and arrived before the Meccans. When the Muslim army arrived from the east, Muhammad initially chose to encamp at the first well he encountered. Al-Hubab ibn al-Mundir, however, asked him if this choice was from divine instruction or Muhammad's own opinion. When Muhammad responded in the latter, Hubab suggested that the Muslims occupy the well closest to the Qurayshi army and block off or destroy the other ones. Muhammad accepted this decision and the plan was carried out at midnight. Muhammad had also given strict orders to not begin an attack without his sole permission. Muhammad spent the whole night of the 12th of March, 16 Ramadan, praying near a tree. The Muslim army enjoyed a refreshing night of sleep, again believed by Muslims to be a blessing from Allah. Meccan plan of action. While little is known about the progress of the Qurayshi army from the time it left Mecca until its arrival just outside Badr, several things are worth noting. Although many Arab armies brought their women and children along on campaigns both to motivate and care for the men, the Meccan army did not. The Quraysh apparently made little or no effort to contact the many allies they had scattered throughout the Hejaz. Both facts suggest the Quraysh lacked the time to prepare for a proper campaign in their haste to protect the caravan. Besides, it is believed they expected an easy victory. Since Muhammad's army had either destroyed or taken all the wells in the city, a few Makkans approached the well controlled by Muslims to draw out water. All were shot except Hakim ibn Hizam, who later accepted Islam. At midnight on the 13th of March, 17 Ramadan, the Quraysh broke camp and marched into the valley of Badr. Umayr ibn Wahb al-Jumahi made a survey of the Muslim position and reported 300 men keen on fighting to the last man. After another scouting mission, he reported that neither were the Muslims going to be reinforced, nor were they planning any ambushes. This further demoralized the Quraysh, as Arab battles were traditionally low-casualty affairs, and set off another round of bickering among the Qurayshi leadership. However, according to Arab traditions, Amr ibn Hisham quashed the remaining dissent by appealing to the Qurayshis' sense of honor and demanding that they fulfill their blood vengeance. Duels. The battle began with Al-Aswad bin Abdul Asad al-Makhzumi, one of the men from Abu Jahl's clan, the Banu Mazum, swearing that he would drink from the well of the Muslims or otherwise destroy it or die for it. In response to his cries, Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib, one of Muhammad's uncles, came out and they began fighting in a duel. Hamza struck Al-Aswad's leg before dealing him another blow that killed him. Seeing this, 3 men protected by armor and shields, Utbah ibn Rabia, alongside his brother, Shayba ibn Rabia and son, Al-Walid ibn Utbah, emerged from the Makkan ranks. 3 of the Madani Ansar emerged from the Muslim ranks, only to be shouted back by the Meccans, who were nervous about starting any unnecessary feuds and only wanted to fight the Muhajirun, keeping the dispute within the tribe. So Hamza approached and called on Ubaidah ibn al-Harith and Ali ibn Abu Talib to join him. The first 2 duels between Ali and al-Walid and Hamza and Shayba were quick, with both managing to kill their opponents swiftly. After the fight between Ali and Walid, Hamza looked at Ubaidah to find him seriously wounded. He then fell upon and killed Shayba. Ali and Hamza then carried Ubaidah back into the Muslim lines. He died later due to a disease. A shower of arrows from both sides followed these duels, and this was followed by several other duels, most of which were won by the Muslims. The Makkans now took the offensive and charged upon the Muslim lines. Makkan charge and Muslim counterattack. As the Makkans charged upon the Muslims, Muhammad kept asking Allah, stretching his hands toward the Qibla, "O Allah, should this group of Muslims be defeated today, you will no longer be worshipped." Muhammad kept reciting his prayer until his cloak fell off his shoulders, at which point Abu Bakr picked it up and put it back on his shoulders and said, "O Prophet of Allah, you have cried out enough to your Lord. He will surely fulfill what he has promised you." Muhammad gave the order to carry out a counterattack against the enemy now, throwing a handful of pebbles at the Makkans in what was probably a traditional Arabian gesture while yelling, "Defaced be those faces," or "Confusion seize their faces." The Muslim army yelled in reply, "Ya Mansur Amit," meaning, "O thou whom God hath made victorious, slay," and rushed the Qurayshi lines. The Makkans, understrength and unenthusiastic about fighting, promptly broke and ran. Muslims attribute their fear of fighting and fleeing from the battlefield to divine intervention, with the Quran stating in chapter 8, verse 12, that Allah inspired angels to strengthen those who have believed, and cast terror into the hearts of those who disbelieved. The battle itself only lasted a few hours and was over by early afternoon. The Quran describes the force of the Muslim attack in many verses, which refer to thousands of angels descending from heaven at Badr to terrify the Quraysh. It also describes how Iblis, the leader of the jinn, mentioned to have taken the form of Suraka ibn Malik, fled the battlefield upon seeing the angels. Muslim sources take this account literally, and there are several ahadith where Muhammad discusses the angel Jibreel and the role he played in the battle. Aftermath. Imprisonment of captives and their ransom. 3 days after the battle, Muhammad left Badr for Medina. As far as the treatment of prisoners was concerned, Abu Bakr was of the opinion that they should be ransomed, since they were all of their own kin. Umar argued against this, saying that there is no notion of blood relationships as far as Islam is concerned, and that all the prisoners should be executed, and that everyone should execute him who is closest to him by blood. Ali should kill his brother, Aqil ibn Abu Talib, Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib should behead his brother, Abbas ibn Abd al-Muttalib, and that he himself would kill someone close to him. Muhammad accepted Abu Bakr's suggestion to ransom the captives. Some 70 prisoners were taken captive and are noted to have been treated humanely, including a number of Quraysh leaders. Most of the prisoners were released upon payment of ransom, and those who were literate were released on the condition that they teach 10 persons how to read and write, and this teaching was to count as their ransom. Casualties. Despite scholars estimating Meccan casualties at around 70, only the names of the more prominent ones are known. However, the names of the 14 Muslims who were killed during the course of the war or later, due to injuries sustained during the war, are all known. Meccan casualties. Well-known Meccans who were killed during the battle included Amr ibn Hisham, Umayyah ibn Caliph, Utbah ibn Rabia, Shayba ibn Rabia, al-Walid ibn Utbah, al-Aswad bin, and Abdul Asad al-Makhzumi. Nadir ibn al-Harith and Uqba ibn Abu Mu'at were also killed, though the circumstances of their deaths are unclear. According to some sources, the last two were killed during fighting in the field of battle at Badr and subsequently buried in a pit, while Safiur Rahman al-Mubarakpuri writes that these two were taken as prisoners and subsequently executed by Ali. Muslims' casualties at Badr: Haritha bin Suraka al-Khazraji, Zish Shamalain bin Abdi Amr al-Muhajiri, Rafi bin al-Mu'alla al-Khazraji, Saad bin Kaithama al-Asi, Safwan bin Wab al-Muhajiri, Aqil bin al-Bukhar al-Muhajiri, Ubaydah bin al-Harith al-Muhajiri, Umayr bin al-Humam al-Khazraji, Umayr bin Abu Waqas al-Muhajiri, Awf bin al-Harith al-Khazraji, Mubashir bin Abdul Mundir al-Asi, Muawi bin al-Harith al-Khazraji, Mijah bin Salah al-Muhajiri, Yazid bin al-Harith bin Fusham al-Khazraji. Implications. The Battle of Badr was extremely influential in the rise of two men who determined the course of Arabian history in the next century. The first was Muhammad, who was transformed overnight from a Meccan outcast into the leader of a new community and city-state at Medina. Marshall Hodgson adds that Badr forced the other Arabs to regard the Muslims as challengers and potential inheritors to the prestige and the political role of the Quraysh. Shortly thereafter, he expelled the Banu Qanuqa, one of the Jewish tribes in Medina, for assaulting a Muslim woman, which led to their expulsion for breaking the peace treaty. The tribe is also known for having threatened Muhammad's political position. At the same time, Abd Allah ibn Ubay, Muhammad's chief opponent in Medina, found his own position seriously weakened. He was only able to mount limited challenges to Muhammad. The other major beneficiary of the Battle of Badr was Abu Sufyan ibn Harb, safely away from the battle leading the caravan. The death of Amr ibn Hisham, as well as many other Qurayshi nobles, gave Abu Sufyan the opportunity, almost by default, to become chief of the Quraysh. As a result, when Muhammad marched into Mecca 6 years later, it was Abu Sufyan who helped negotiate its peaceful surrender. Abu Sufyan subsequently became a high-ranking official in the Muslim Empire, and his son Muawiyah later went on to found the Umayyad Caliphate. Hamza had performed especially well during the Battle of Badr, killing one of the leaders and a number of high-ranking officials of the Quraysh. In retaliation, the Quraysh put a bounty on his head. An assassin killed him at Battle of Uhud, and the Quraysh followed by publicly mutilating Hamza. In later days, the Battle of Badr became so significant that Ibn Ishaq included a complete name-by-name roster of the Muslim army in his biography of Muhammad. In many hadiths, veterans who fought at Badr are identified as such as a formality, and they may have even received a stipend in later years. The death of the last of the Badr veterans occurred during the first fitna. Legacy. In the Quran, the battle is referred to as Yawm al-Furqan. The Day of the Criterion, Arabic pronunciation, Jamul Furqan. During the 2011 Libyan civil war, the rebel leadership stated that they selected the date of the assault on Tripoli to be the 20th of Ramadan, marking the anniversary of the Battle of Badr. The Battle of Badr was featured in the 1976 film The Message, the 2004 animated movie Muhammad, The Last Prophet, the 2012 TV series Omar, and the 2015 animated movie Bilal, a new breed of hero. There is little evidence beside these, and there are no written descriptions of the battle prior to the 9th century, and as such, the historicity and authenticity of the battle are debated by contemporary historians. Badr has become popular among Muslim armies and paramilitary organizations. Operation Badr was used to describe Egypt's offensive in the 1973 Yom Kippur War as well as Pakistan's actions in the 1999 Kargil War. Iranian offensive operations against Iraq in the late 1980s were also named after Badr. It is mentioned in the Quran, and all knowledge of the battle comes from traditional Islamic accounts, recorded and compiled sometime after the battle. The story of the Battle of Badr has been passed down in Islamic history throughout the centuries, before being combined in the multiple biographies of Muhammad that exist today. I stop at this point today. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the world's incredible stories. Soon we will publish Part 4. Thank you for watching.